is a list of my top 10 roll and writes. There may be some that can be played multiplayer, however, I love to play them solo. And I also want to mention, it isn't so much as a countdown to my most favorite game, because depending on my mood or the time, I could choose any one of these. I love them all. It is a list that goes from the quick, easygoing games to the longer, more intense. Let's get to the list. Number 1, Railroad Inc. for ages 8 and up. Railroad Inc. is quick to learn and also to pick up and play, which sometimes I want. The Blue Box Railroad Inc. includes 6 wipe-off player boards, 6 markers, and 8 special dice, 4 which are used in the basic game. The other 4 are used for playing in the expansion games, which are included in the box. In the base game, your goal is to connect as many exits to each other by drawing the routes you roll on the 4 special dice, with highways and railroads, which these might also have overpasses and stations. On your board, there are also 6 special routes you can use during a round. You gain points for how well you do. The most points win, or in solo, you try to beat your previous score. The games are quick but challenging, and I love to play them in a spare 15 minutes or so. Number 2, this is My City. It was designed by Reiner Knizia for ages 10 and up, and it was published in 2021 by Cosmos. Inside the box of My City are 4 different chapters, each with 3 different episodes, as they are called. You can play the campaign of all 12, or just have fun playing an episode or 2, or a chapter or 2. The goal is to gain the most points by building your city within certain boundaries. It's a bit Tetris-like, as the dice you roll determine the shapes of the buildings you must place within the grid. I'm having lots of fun playing through the campaign. Number 3, Rolling Realms. This was published in 2021 by Stonemaier Games and is for ages 14 and up. Inside the box of Rolling Realms are 11 different realm cards, a resource card, and a scorecard, dry erase marker and cloth, each for 6 players. Then there are 2 large dice for the game. There are also other items for expansion games, but I've only played the base game to date. To play solo, you randomly pick 3 of the realm cards and roll the 2 dice. You use the dice amount to mark your card with the goal to gain resources and get the most stars during a round and for at the end of the game. There are 3 rounds, each of 9 turns, or the roll of dice. Each realm offers different options to gain resources and get stars, and there's so many options for never-ending fun. I love it. Number 4, Corinth. And this is actually for 2 or 4 players. However, there is a solo variant that is available on Board Game Geek that I love to play solo. It is for ages 8 and up, and it was published in 2019 by Days of Wonder. In the game of Corinth, you strive to become the best merchant of the ancient world at a time when goats were quite valuable. Can you gain the most points by trading and delivering goods? It all depends on how you use the 9 white and 3 gold dice rolled in the game. You mark your score sheet sections by selecting certain dice on the arbor board. The AI in the solo variant acts as other players, limiting your options. At the end of 4 rounds of the solo variant found on Board Game Geek, it will be determined if you are the top trader. Number 5, Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. This game was published in 2021 by Elia and designed by Richard Garfield. It is for ages 12 and up. There are 4 different adventure sheets inside the box of Dungeons, Dice, and Danger. Each has you exploring the dungeons, fighting off monsters, and gathering treasures. In the game, you roll the dice and explore the dungeon using the rolled amounts. Sounds easy, however, the different combinations of dice amounts to use and the various paths you could take and other choices makes it challenging to earn the most victory points. In a solo game, you are based upon a point scale at the end of the game. Do you become the dungeon master, a hero, or told to hit harder or try again? Number 6, Medi the Dice Game. This was published in 2021 and it is another game designed by Reiner Knizia. In Medi, you roll 5 special dice and select from those dice to fill your ships with certain goods, trying to gain the most points by having monopolies and the best loads. At the end of the 3rd round in the solo game, you tally up your points. On the point scale in the back of the instruction book, you will find out whether you made captain or are a mere deck scrubber, and lots of things in between. This is a quick 15-minute game that is challenging, but not too intense. Number 7, That's Pretty Clever. This was published in 2018 by Stronghold Games and is for ages 14 and up. In the box of That's Pretty Clever is a score pad, 6 colored dice, and 4 pens. The box also displays a silver platter, which is where you place some of the dice as you select others. The goal of the game is to generate the most points possible at the end of 6 rounds for the solo game. On the score pad are different sections. How you fill these sections according to the dice rolls will determine where you land on the point scale at the end of the game. Are you so clever, impressive, or just not bad? Number 8, Fleet the Dice Game. This was published in 2018 by Eagle Gryphon Games and is for ages 8 and up. In this game, you're trying to catch the most fish while keeping up with things at the arbor and wharf and making money. This is all done on how you use the dice rolls to mark your score pads. There are 2 different types of dice, boat dice and town dice, and 2 score pads. Lots of options and things to keep track of. You play against an automa player, captain of another ship. His moves are determined by the dice rolls as well. He marks off things on your score pad, making it more difficult for you to score points that you may have wanted. How you decide to use the dice will determine how you fall on the point scale at the end of 8 rounds. Will you be considered a greenhorn or one of the best captains of the fleet? Number 9, Dinosaur Island, Roar and Write. This was published in 2021 and is for ages 14 and up. In Roar and Write, your goal is to build the best Dinosaur Island park possible with the rolls of dice, trying to gain bonus points from achieving certain goals. There are lots of special dice. It's got a little Tetris going on as you place polyomino shapes onto a section on your park sheets. These sheets will also keep track of your resources and the DNA of dinosaurs collected to create them. You also must keep your park secure. You don't want to build a park where your visitors have the chance to be eaten. Lots of choices, lots going on, lots of chances to gain or lose points, and it's also lots of fun. It's an intense game which takes less than an hour to play, but you've definitely worked your mind during that time, which is awesome. In the solo game, you check the point scale in the instruction book, and you may get Park of the Year award or not, and it's always a challenge. And my number 10 roll and write is 3 Sisters. It was published in 2022 by the same designers of Fleet the Dice Game, and it is for ages 14 and up. 3 Sisters is another dice rolling game packed full of options. You're trying to have the best and most profitable backyard garden. 3 Sister actually refers to 3 different types of plants highlighted in the game. A common custom is to plant corn, beans, and squash together. The corn grows high, allowing the beans to climb alongside, while the squash is a ground cover, reducing weeds. In the solo game, you are playing against an automa player, which uses the dice to take away options you may have wanted on your score sheets. You have 2 score sheets filled with different sections. Not only are you planting the 3 Sisters, but you have perennials, fruit trees, berry bushes, bees, various tools in your shed, and a market to utilize. You earn blue ribbons or not for your efforts. It's excellent and challenging fun. So there you have my top 10 roll and writes. Thanks for watching.